Hey, welcome back. Welcome to another Tales from the Workshop from Mr. Jones Watches, the weekly look behind the scenes at what we get up to here. This week I've got a very special guest with me. I've got Jacqueline Colley, who's the designer of Continuum. Jacqueline, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
So Jacqueline designed Continuum for us, which was released as a 24-hour window limited edition back in May. In the 24-hour window it sold 361 or 362.
Amazing.
It was a really strong candidate for reissue right from the start. Like those kind of numbers would always make it a very strong candidate. This is limited edition Continuum, so it's got some really nice elements like the metallic print on the glass for the spaceship, and it's got this vortex at sort of 12 o'clock, which is actually acting as the second hand. Jacqueline, maybe it's nice to talk a bit about where it came from. Like, I really love, like we've done a few Zoom calls with you in the past, and I always enjoy seeing your workspace in the background.
But I think you guys found me after I'd done this edition with Print Club, which was really space inspired. But I'd been to the Las Vegas, I think it's a pinball museum in Las Vegas. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it was years ago. And then they had this brief that was play, and I really wanted to do a pinball machine, but then I really wanted it to be space themed because I love space, and I love like all the kind of, I grew up watching all the space movies and series, but that came from this book which had this really like spacey scene on it. And after I spoke to you guys about the silkscreen print, you said it was less about the pinball and more about the space. So then I came back to this this was an A to Z of pop culture creatures, and X was for extraterrestrials. So it was like an alien on the moon. So I really went back to that design and then started pulling out all my favorite kind of space elements like UFOs and black holes and planets and the rings and the alien with the space gun and the rocket. But yeah, all these retro futuristic elements.
I mean, it sounds amazing. A pinball museum, it sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, Las Vegas definitely wasn't really my cup of tea, but I loved the Neon Museum was amazing and the Pinball Museum was amazing. And you basically go in and you get a whole cup of quarters and then you can play on them. So it's not even like a don't touch museum. I don't know if it's still like this now because it was maybe 2015 or something that I was there.
I guess for us, because you come from like a printmaking background, like it's always really straightforward with us to work with people who are familiar with printmaking, and especially screen printing, because you're limited on colours. You know, there's issues of sort of registration, so you're used to laying out artwork in a way that will kind of minimise the challenges of that.
Definitely. I mean, I loved when I met you guys and I saw how you worked. I was like, I totally get, I mean, I'd never seen anything like it before, but I totally get the system because it's silkscreen printing but on like a miniaturized scale, and the level of detail you can get in your etching plates and how, I mean, I still don't fully comprehend it, but I've seen how it works and it's amazing. But yeah, they're in the same print world zone of like the same kind of, though I'm sure like everyone's approach is quite different, and I felt bad providing you with my files because there's so much, even though I was trying to limit my colors, I got a little bit carried away.
And actually that's foreshadowing a bit of what we're going to get onto in the sampling process. I guess we developed a newfound respect for your use of colour once we tried to remix your colours ourselves. The change between limited edition and reissue is sort of a moment to revisit aspects of the design. Not that don't work, because I feel it was a really successful design overall, but just things that we felt could be better. One of them, we felt the comet down that right hand side was fighting a bit against the flame from the rocket, and also the comet trail of the minute marker. Comet, we thought, yeah, we'll open that space up. There was also the vortex on this left hand side, sorry, the black hole and the vortex, that we felt the two together were not quite in harmony as they could be, so maybe, yeah, could be rolled into one. And yeah, I think more or less that was it on our checklist. So this was one where we were kind of trying to link that sort of black hole and vortex together, so the background of the dial and the vortex shape, which kind of sounded like it should have worked, but didn't really work in reality. So that was that one. I guess we felt it didn't kind of have the impact, the sort of visual richness that the original had. On this one, we've gone back close to your original colour palette. Like, there are some subtle changes. So I look particularly at the yellow planet at the bottom. The outline colour on the limited edition was quite a pale...
Yeah, it got a bit lost.
Exactly, and there was such rich sort of detail in there. So on this one, it's like a darker tone for the second tone on the planet.
Yeah, no, I love that change. I think that's really...
Yeah, but it's just brought out, like, we obviously see your artwork on screen and we can see all of the detail that's in there, and it felt like, yeah, some of it wasn't quite being captured in the watch. For us, like, sampling different colour combinations on an element like this vortex is fairly straightforward, so we did quite a lot of variations, and this isn't all of them by any means. It's really difficult to sort of preview on screen.
Yes.
You know, in
things that worked on screen then didn't work in reality. It was very confusing.
And you very kindly came in and spent a day with us in the workshop and working through different things. I guess that was more to get the kind of core colour set, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a lot of... I had fun with the Pantone book and, yeah, mixing colours and getting them exactly right, which was really nice.
There was a bunch of experimentation as well with the sort of neon colour on the comet tail and how much that was replicated in the flame from the rocket. So this is clearly a version where it was not shared.
Yeah, and trying to get that neon pink just right, so it's just a little bit pushed back.
Yeah, it was probably a bit vivid on that sample. These are all like slight variations as well on, because I'm looking at the yellow planet at the bottom, and obviously on this one we've gone for quite a pale outline colour that again is getting a bit lost, and we're experimenting with some different colours for the background planets on the dial. Cool, so this is final colourways, final options for the design, and you can see we've gone back to essentially what you had originally. So what you had in the limited edition for the vortex part at the top, that yellow and orange colourway, it just works balancing with the planet at the bottom, and seeing them side by side, if I can get them in focus, you can kind of see there's quite a few subtle tweaks that have happened. It's hard when a design is as successful as it was the first time around, because there's not much you want to change. You don't want to mess with the essence of it. I feel like we made a really long journey around the houses to get back to somewhere quite close to where we'd started. But for us, I guess it was important to sort of stress test those things and to see that this was the right colourway to go and everything.
And that's always part of design anyway. I kind of love that process of doing all the different versions and then seeing what you like best and looking at it as well. I prefer this kind of cleaner background where you don't have the two vortex, the wormhole and the vortex fighting anymore, and it's way better without the comet on the side, because that planet is just given space to breathe now. So I think it's like those changes have made it more of a successful design.
I feel like it's really well balanced now, like the elements all feel kind of harmonious and in the right place. A reissue should always be a sort of a final tweaks version, and I feel like this is a really good example of that. Like, the changes are quite subtle, but they're all add up to, you know, enhancing it in a whole multitude of quite subtle ways. I guess all that's left for me to say is to say thank you to Jacqueline for all your work on the design.
I think I need to say thank you for having me. I'm so glad it sold well, and that I always, when you first approached, I wanted to get in the permanent collection, so I'm very happy.
Okay, as always, I hope it was an interesting insight into what we get up to here. I look forward to reading your comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you next week.